they get all touchy-feely and they show all these emotions, and quite frankly, I don't like that. I like to kill them softly. Was that a good Brad Pitt impression?
Mark Trapman's game was hit a couple of nights ago.
Hey, hey, hey! Just give it all up, nobody gets hurt. It's only money.
Hello everybody, welcome to MaffmanJones Reviews. I am John Maffio, and it's been over a week, but I am back. And today's featured movie is Killing Them Softly. This movie stars Brad Pitt, James Gandolfini, Ray Liotta, and Richard Jenkins. And it's basically about these two young guys who think they have everything coming to them and they're big shots. And they rob a mob-protected card game. And they think they're all hot shots for this, but apparently this causes a big collapse economically for the mob. And now Brad Pitt, who is like this molder and enforcer, he has to basically fix the problem. While I wouldn't say I loved this movie, I would say that it was a good movie for sure, and it has some really crazy messages in it, which I'll get into right now. The story on a whole is very personal, but also very large in scale, and personal because the dealings with these characters and their dilemmas are very, intense. And the story is large because constantly you're hit over the head with political messaging. I felt that the directing for this movie was one of the standouts. Just the way that this director composed and shot this film was very stylized. It had its own feel to it for sure. It felt like his own movie. And there was a lot of long ongoing shots, a lot of shots that were from interesting angles, like the doorknob of a car, or even like twisting and sidings and, all that crazy influential stuff. In a nutshell, it wasn't your typical movie in terms of camera angles and actual composition. I felt the acting as a whole was really good, but nothing really stood out to me. I mean, Brad Pitt, even though I wouldn't say he plays Brad Pitt in this movie, I don't think he plays anything Oscar-worthy. He just plays what he had to play to be suitable and serviceable to the role. But it was still good regardless. The guy from Argo, Scott McNairy, I hope I said that right, he was really good. James Gandolfini, who I have to mention in this review because he hasn't been seen for a while, he was your typical Tony Soprano role, and by that I mean he basically played Tony Soprano if Tony Soprano went into a really deep midlife crisis and just fell off the surface of the earth. Within the actual confines of the mob story, this movie is very oriented with the sun. In terms of the mob and how it's personified in this movie, they're basically trying to convey that the mob was heavily affected by the economic collapse, and many will either be turned off or intrigued by this note, which I was in the middle for this. The constant knock over the head, beating the dead horse of political messaging. At least 4 or 5 times within this movie you would see political monologuing by Obama or George W. Bush when he was president. I can't say I fully understand what the director was going for with this, but I definitely understand that he was saying that politics is corrupt and it's wrong and it's definitely doing things that shouldn't occur. Whether you take something away from it or not, when you smell this movie, you smell politics all over it. And I hate politics, I hate it so goddamn much, so let's get the hell away from it. There's not a lot of exposition in this movie, but I do like the way they went about explaining how the mob deals with whacking and just taking care of things. I mean, as the title says, Brad Pitt likes to kill them softly, and I thought that was very interesting, the way that he just directed his mindset. It's very few and far in between, but whenever they show something going down, every little sound effect is booming and bombastic, and you're just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You really feel everything, and I swear to God, I felt the pain coming from these characters. I don't have any real complaints about this film. If you have anything bad to say about this movie, it's probably just your individual mindset, or just something you didn't like. I mean, the only thing I could say about this movie I didn't like was that some of the dialogue and some of the conversations went on a little too long and didn't have anything to say about the movie itself. Although, the runtime for this movie is an hour and a half, and it was paced perfectly if you are into this movie. And for that, I applaud the director. Once they just make the movie for what it has to be, and they say what they have to say, and then you leave, and that's it. Honestly, I really feel like this movie will either be on one side of the spectrum or the other for you. You'll either enjoy it a lot and want to watch it again to see what they were truly trying to convey with messages, or you'll just totally hate this and not want anything to do with it ever again. But I thought it was interesting. I thought it was a really interesting movie that had something really good to say about politics. And the very last scene in this movie is very memorable. That also includes a very memorable line, which will definitely have people going, well, he's right, kinda. So I'm gonna give Killing Them Softly 4 out of 5 stars. If you plan on seeing Killing Them Softly this weekend, or you have already seen it, please let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. Please like this video as well and subscribe to MaffmanJones. Also check out my Facebook and Twitter accounts on the channel itself. I'm John from MaffmanJones Reviews. See you next time. Hey, wait. One more thing I have to say. If mob movies before this one didn't scare the crap out of me already, this one certainly did. And I also thought it would be funny if somebody who was hired to whack somebody brought the person who was the victim to see this movie and then killed that person. Thought that would be quite ironic. That's all I wanted to say. I'll leave you alone now.
You know, this is a business of relationships.
Don't make me less.
When the man comes around.
I'm living in America. And in America, you're on your own.